That promise was made Saturday morning. But on Monday, everything changed. Min Jae stood outside Baeko Industries' boardroom, blood still on his knuckles from interrogating Dr. Park all night. DNA results? He asked Taeyong. 99.7% match. The triplets are yours. And my brother? Inside, waiting to destroy you. Min Jae smiled. Cold, sharp, deadly. Let him try. The boardroom doors opened. 12 board members sat around a marble table, and at the head Min-seok, wearing a smile that said he'd already won. Brother, Min-seok gestured to an empty chair. Ready to step down gracefully? Ready to watch you bleed. Min-seok pulled up photos on the display screen. Amara enters the penthouse. Amara at the hospital. Amara holding 3 newborns. This woman appeared in my brother's bed 3 months ago, claims she's pregnant with his children. Now she's living in his home, like she owns it. Min-seok's voice dripped with poison. I believe my brother has been compromised, emotionally unstable, making reckless decisions that threaten this company. Board member Kang leaned forward. That's quite an accusation. Is it? He threatened business partners, fired loyal employees, all because of this foreign woman and her supposed pregnancy. Supposed? Min Jae's voice cut like ice. Well, we only have her word. And the DNA test showing 99.7% paternity match? Min Jae stood, pulling out his tablet. Shall we discuss evidence, brother? Or shall we discuss Eclipse Lounge? Min Seok's smile cracked. Eclipse Lounge. Registered under a shell company, the money trail leads directly to you. Min Jae pulled up financial documents. You hired Park Ji-hoon to drug Miss Johnson repeatedly over 4 weeks, to create a scandal that would force me out. That's a lie. Is it? Min Jae played an audio file. Min Seok's voice filled the room. Make sure the drug doses are strong enough that she won't remember. We need this to look like a consensual affair gone wrong. Park Ji-hoon's voice. And if she actually gets pregnant? Min Seok's laugh. Even better. Bastard children will destroy him faster than any scandal. The board erupted in chaos. You drugged and assaulted a woman, board member Kang said slowly, to take over a company? Min Seok lunged across the table. Security grabbed him, but not before he screamed, the Hwangs won't let this go. They'll destroy you. Destroy that woman. Destroy those bastards she's carrying. Min Jae moved so fast no one saw it coming. His fist connected with Min Seok's jaw with a sickening crack. Call them bastards again, Min Jae whispered, and I'll forget we share blood. Board member Kang stood. All in favor of removing Min Seok and pressing criminal charges? 12 hands rose. Motion carries. As security dragged Min Seok out, he screamed. This isn't over. The Hwangs have plans you can't imagine. That woman and those children are already dead. The doors slammed shut. Min Jae stood alone, victory tasting like ash. Because deep down, he knew his brother was right. 1 month later, Amara woke to screaming. Not the babies. Min Jae. She found him in the nursery, staring at Hannah's empty crib like it was a grave. She's right here. Amara lifted their daughter from the changing table. I thought she was gone. His voice shook. I woke up and heard silence and I thought, hey. She pressed Hannah into his arms. She's fine. They're all fine. But Min Jae's hands trembled as he held their daughter. Every time I close my eyes, I see my brother, Min-seok, dead in the river. And I see them. He looked at the triplets. I see them taking his place. That won't happen. You don't know that. Before she could respond, her phone rang. Dr. Choi. Miss Johnson, come to the hospital. Now, we found something in the baby's genetic screening. Dr. Choi's hands shook as she showed them the results. Your children carry a genetic mutation. Extremely rare. Their blood type combined with unusual antibody production makes them. She hesitated. Invaluable. Invaluably how? Amara demanded. Billions, possibly trillions if weaponized. Their blood could revolutionize medicine, or destroy nations, depending on who controls it. The room spun. I've been contacted, Dr. Choi continued. 6 biotech companies, 3 military contractors, a pharmaceutical consortium, all offering money for samples. Samples? Min Jae's voice was dead. You mean my children's blood? Yes, and I'm not the only one they contacted. The genetic screening results were uploaded to the hospital database. That database was hacked 2 weeks ago. Dr. Choi met their eyes. Everyone knows what your children are worth now. Min Jae's phone rang. Unknown number. He answered the speaker. Hello, Mr. Kim. Digitally distorted voice. We need to discuss your very valuable children. $5 billion, monthly blood samples. They live normal lives while contributing to medical advancement. No. Then we take them by force. Dissect them. Extract every cell until we've mapped their genetic code. The voice remained calm. You have 48 hours to decide. The line went dead. Back at the penthouse, Taeyong was waiting. Sir, we have a problem. He held up a device smaller than a grain of rice. Found it in Yudo's onesie. Tracking device. They found 12 total. In clothes, toys, even the mobile above Hannah's crib. Someone's been watching them sleep, Amara whispered. Not anymore. Min Jae's expression was murder. Pack everything. We leave tonight. Leave? Where? Anywhere they can't find us. But before they could move, a courier arrived. Package addressed to Min Jae. Inside, professional photos of the triplets. Dozens. Taken from angles that should have been impossible. The note attached. Beautiful children. Perfect specimens. Meet me in 72 hours. Come alone, or I demonstrate how close I can get. The architect. Min Jae went to the meeting alone. Peninsula Hotel Presidential Suite. A woman stood by the window, mid-50s. Elegant. Broken. Ji-won, Min Jae said. You remember me. She turned. I'm touched. My father's first wife. Mother of my half-brother. The brother your father erased. The son who died in an alley while you inherited everything. Ji-won's smile was winter sharp. Do you know what it's like to bury your child, Min Jae? No. Then let me teach you. She pulled out her phone, showing him files. 6 companies want your children. I've been fielding offers for months. The highest bid is currently 12 billion. You're selling my children? How do we get in? Amara asked. We don't. Min Jae checked his gun. I do. Alone. Like hell. Amara. Those are my children too. I'm coming. They breached the compound at midnight. No guards. No resistance. Too easy. They found Ji-won in a nursery she'd built. The triplets are sleeping peacefully in cribs. You came, she whispered. Of course I came. I couldn't do it. Tears streamed down her face. I looked at their faces and saw my son. Saw innocence that doesn't deserve this. She gestured helplessly. Take them. Before I change my mind. Min Jae moved toward the cribs. The babies weren't breathing. No, Amada screamed. Ji-won stumbled back. I swear I didn't. Min Jae grabbed Hannah. She was cold. Limp. They're not dead, Ji-won sobbed. Just sedated. I needed time to think. I gave them something to make them sleep. But, what did you give them? I don't know. Someone sent it to me. Said it was safe. Min Jae's fingers found Hannah's pulse. Weak, but there. Hospital. Now. They rushed the babies to the car. Behind them, Ji-won collapsed, screaming apologies into the darkness. Dr. Choi worked frantically. IVs. Monitors. Machines beeping urgently. What was in their system? She demanded. We don't know, Min Jae said. Some kind of sedative. It's shutting down their respiratory systems. If we don't counteract it in the next hour. She didn't finish. Amara clutched Min Jae's hand. They have to survive. They have to. I know. 30 minutes passed like 30 years. Then a cry. Small, weak, but alive. Jae's responding, Dr. Choi said. The counteragent is working. 10 minutes later, Yudo woke up. But Hannah's monitor stayed flat. Come on, baby girl, Min Jae whispered, holding her tiny hand. Fight. Like your mother, like your brothers. Fight. Nothing. Hannah, please. Her eyes opened. The monitor beeped. Once. Twice. Steady rhythm. Amara sobbed. Min-jae crushed his daughter against his chest, tears streaming down his face. "Don't you ever do that again," he whispered. "Ever." They moved to Japan. Rural compound. Hidden in the mountains. Traditional home hiding military-grade security. The triplets recovered fully, playing in gardens, laughing, alive. Amara found peace painting. Min-jae found peace watching his family exist. They married quietly. Small ceremony, just them and hope. Then the package arrived. Photos taken that morning. The family at breakfast, captured from inside the house. Note attached. "Did you think Jiwon was alone? The consortium doesn't forget. We've been watching for 12 months. Your children's blood is worth more than your empire. We'll be in touch." The board. Min-jae's phone rang. Unknown number. "Hello, father. Ready to play the real game?" "Who is this?" "The people who've been watching your family, studying your children's genetics, building files while you played house." A pause. Jiwon was a pawn. Your brother was a tool. Now, the real players are entering the game. What do you want? 5 billion for monthly blood samples. Or we take them by force. Dissect them in laboratories. Extract every drop of value from their bodies. I'll destroy you. No, you won't. Because we're already inside your home. Inside your security. Inside your life. The voice dropped. Check your daughter's stuffed rabbit. The pink one she sleeps with. Mrs. Kim ran to the nursery. Returned with the rabbit. Sewn into its seam, a camera. We've watched them grow. Watch you believe you are safe, but there is no safety. Not from us. The voice hardened. 3 days, Mr. Kim. Decide if you're selling your children or if we're taking them. The line went dead. Amara and Min-jae stood frozen. They're inside the house, she whispered. They've been watching our babies sleep. Not anymore. Min-jae's expression was murder and ice. Taeyong burn it all. Every device. Every camera. Every weakness. He turned to Amara. They think we'll break. I think fear will make us surrender. Won't it? No. His voice was absolute. Because we're not victims anymore. We're parents. And parents are the most dangerous creatures on earth when their children are threatened. What do? We stop running. He pulled her close. We stop hiding. We find every member of this consortium and we end them. How? By becoming what they fear most. His smile was winter sharp. A family with nothing left to lose. Above them, cherry blossoms fell like snow. Inside, the triplets played, unaware of the war their existence had started. Jay laughed. Yudo clapped. Hannah watched everything with eyes too intelligent for a 9-month-old. The consortium was coming. But this time, they'd learn that some families fight back. That some parents become monsters to protect their children. That Min-jae and Amara had spent months preparing for war. And war was about to begin. Min-jae's phone buzzed. Message from an unknown number. He opened it. A live video feed. Of a woman tied to a chair in a dark room. Beaten. Bleeding. The camera panned up to show her face. Amara's mother. Text appeared below. 3 days. Or she dies first. Then we come for the babies. Choose wisely, father. Comment episode 3 if you want to see what happens next. And tell me where you're watching from. Hello viewers. Welcome back to episode 2. If you haven't watched episode 1, go watch it now. You'll be lost without it. This is where everything explodes. Where secrets become weapons. Where love gets tested. Where one decision changes everything. Grab your popcorn. Let's continue. The safety deposit box was empty. Completely empty. Zara held the key. Her hands trembled. The bank manager looked confused. Are you sure this is the right box? I'm sure, she whispered. But she wasn't sure about anything anymore. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. A photo. Min-hyuk. At Incheon Airport. Passport in hand. Crying. He was leaving Seoul. He was abandoning her. What? Zara's voice cracked. She called him. No answer. Called again. Voicemail. Third call connected. Min-hyuk, where are you? His voice was hollow. I'm sorry. I had to leave. You promised. We'd face this together. I know, but they found me. The person who killed my father. They're coming. If I stay, they'll destroy you. Zara's stomach dropped. What do you mean they? Taejun? My brother. I haven't told you everything. I was protecting you. Tell me now. Not over the phone. They're listening. Her apartment suddenly felt smaller, colder, watched. The news hit at 7 a.m. Hanyul CEO abandons post. Crisis deepens. Park Min-hyuk's brother arrives in Seoul. A photo. A man who looked like Min-hyuk, but wasn't. His eyes were colder, hungrier. Park Taejun, 35, CEO of TJ Capital in Los Angeles. An interview clip appeared. Taejun on live television. Perfect suit. Perfect smile. Perfect lies. My brother has been under pressure, he said smoothly. I've tried to help, but he's spiraling. Making reckless decisions. Dating staff. Losing focus. The anchor asked, "Are you suggesting he's mentally unstable?" "I'm suggesting he needs help, not a company to run." The manipulation was seamless. Zara watched millions believe it. Everyone thought Min-hyuk was unstable. But Sarah knew better. She called Mrs. Kang. "Meet me at the penthouse. Now." Mrs. Kang arrived within 30 minutes. Her face was pale. Shocked. "I worked for his father for 23 years, Mrs. Kang said, sitting down. "And I know Min-hyuk. He's not unstable. He's calculated." "Then why is he running?" "Because he's scared. When Min-hyuk is scared, he hides." They searched the penthouse systematically. In the office closet, beneath a hidden panel, they found it. A folder. Black envelope. Inside, photographs. Medical records. Everything. And a handwritten letter. Min-hyuk's younger handwriting. 9 years ago. "I know what you did. I'm giving you one choice. Admit it, step down. Or I'm going to the police." Mrs. Kang's hands shook. He knew. A video file was inside. USB drive labeled, "The Truth." Zara plugged it in. A hospital room appeared. 9 years ago. Min-hyuk's father in a hospital bed. Oxygen mask on. Monitor beeping. Then a shadow entered. The shadow moved to the IV line, prepared a syringe, inject something. Swift. Practiced. No hesitation. The monitor's beep became a wail. Alarms shrieked. Medical staff rushed in. Too late. The person was gone. Mrs. Kang gasped. "Oh my God. Who is it?" "I don't know. But that person had access to everything. The hospital. The building. The penthouse. Someone Min-hyuk trusted." Zara's phone rang. Unknown number. She answered. Zara Thompson. The voice was male. Calm. Exactly like Min-hyuk's but twisted. Her mouth went dry. "Who is this?" "Park Taejun. My brother's girlfriend." "How lovely." "The man from the news, the concerned brother." "Where's Min-hyuk?" "Running." Predictably. He's always been weak. Taejun's voice carried amusement. "Cruelty. You killed your father. I improved the company. My father was weak. Throwing money at charities, treating workers like people. He was destroying everything. You murdered him." "I removed an obstacle." Zara's hands trembled. Mrs. Kang was recording everything. "What do you want?" Zara asked. "Everything," Min-hyuk hid. "The video. The documents. The evidence." Taejun's voice became playful. "You have 72 hours. Deliver it to the address I'm sending. Walk away." "And if I don't?" "Your brother doesn't get his surgery. Your mother loses her apartment. Your family becomes leverage. You'll spend 20 years in prison for breaking and entering, forging documents, and bribery." He knew everything about her family. "How did you?" "I own people in every government office. I have hackers monitoring Min-hyuk. I have resources you can't imagine." His voice dropped lower, colder. "And I have absolutely nothing to lose anymore." 6 hours, Taejun said. "Then I activate my insurance policy." The line went dead. Zara called Min-hyuk on the secure line. He picked up. "I found everything," she said. "The video, the proof." "Sarah, no. Don't go looking." I already looked. Taejun just called me. He called you? He's giving us 6 hours or he destroys my family. But we're not giving him anything. We're releasing it. Everything. Every news network in Korea and the United States. Simultaneously. That will destroy us too. If we give him this evidence, he owns us forever. We have to choose truth over comfort. We have to fight. Long silence. Okay, Min-hyuk said. I'll contact my old roommate. He's a journalist in New York. We release simultaneously. Make it impossible to bury. How long? 3 hours. Then it's everywhere. But Zara didn't wait. She called Taejun back. He answered immediately. I'm going to give you the evidence, she said. Smart choice. But I need insurance first. Insurance? He laughed. You're in no position to negotiate. Actually, I am. Because what I have doesn't just hurt Min-hyuk, it destroys you. The line crackled. Keep talking, Taejun said. The video doesn't show your face clearly. Reasonable doubt. But the embezzlement schemes in Los Angeles? Those documents are airtight. If I give this to the police, Min-hyuk goes to prison. But if I release everything to the media, those documents about 3 suspicious deaths, you disappear. Silence. Long, desperate. You're bluffing, he said. Am I? The Korean National Police opened investigations. The FBI opened one too. All they need is one piece of credible evidence. I have that evidence. Taejun's greed fought his fear. His need to win fought his need to survive. Take the deal, become CEO, let Min-hyuk fall. Or, I go to the media. You're bluffing. Try me. She hung up, then texted Min-hyuk. Do it now. He's going to run. The story broke at 3 a.m. New York time, 6 p.m. Seoul time. Breaking. Video reveals murder in Hanyul Dynasty. Park Taejun implicated in father's death. Embezzlement exposed. CEO's brother tried to frame him. The video went viral within minutes. CNN, BBC, Korea's networks, everyone. The footage was crystal clear. The injection, the calculated murder. Taejun's face, finally visible. His identity was confirmed. His crimes were exposed. By 8 a.m., Interpol issued a red notice. By 10 a.m., his accounts were frozen. By noon, he was arrested at Singapore airport. The trial was brutal, public, international. Taejun's lawyers fought viciously, but the evidence was overwhelming. He was convicted on 5 counts of murder, 45 years prison, no parole. His company dissolved, assets seized, victims compensated. His entire empire, built on greed, collapsed in 72 hours. Min-hyuk returned to Seoul. Charges dropped immediately. His reputation was restored, enhanced. He became the hero, the man who survived. The stock market pushed Hanul Group higher than ever. 2 weeks later, Min-hyuk stood in Zara's apartment, shaking. I've controlled every variable my entire life, he said. But I can't control this. And that terrifies me. He got down on one knee. A diamond ring. Zara Thompson, will you marry me? She cried. Then I laughed. Yes. Absolutely, yes. 30 days later. A small ceremony. Family. Friends. Mrs. Kang. At a church in Seoul overlooking the city. Zara wore white. Hair in braids adorned with diamonds. Min-hyuk wore black. Tears streaming down his face. When she walked down the aisle, he stopped breathing. You're beautiful, he whispered. You're crying, she replied. I know, I don't care. They kissed as husband and wife. Seoul watched in silence. The penthouse was transformed. Plants everywhere, photographs, color, life. Zara sat on the couch, swollen with pregnancy. Min-hyuk beside her, hand on her belly. Do you think it's a boy? He asked. I think it's stubborn, just like its father. He kissed her forehead, then her belly. Hi, little one. I'm your dad. I promise I'll never hurt you. The hospital. 3 a.m. Zara in labor, Min-hyuk holding her hand. I can't do this, she gasped. You can. You're the strongest person I know. 3 hours of pain, of struggle, of pushing. Then the cry. A baby's cry. A boy. Tiny. Perfect. The nurse placed him on Zara's chest. Min-hyuk couldn't stop sobbing. "We have a son," Zara whispered. "We have a son," Min-hyuk repeated. They named him Park Ji-ho. Park for his father's dynasty. Ji for Min-hyuk's father, the man he'd loved, the man he'd avenged. Ho for hope. For a new beginning. Min-hyuk sold 60% of Hanyul Group. He restructured the company from the ground up. Workers now had representation on the board. Wages were guaranteed at fair minimums. Mental health services provided to all employees. The company became known for humanity, not ruthlessness. Other CEOs called him insane. But the stock price tripled. Because loyalty is worth more than fear. Because respect is earned, not bought. Zara started the Thompson Park Foundation for Workers' Rights. She returned to school, got her degree in international law. She became a voice for the voiceless. And when she spoke, the world listened. Because she'd lived it, she'd survived it, she'd transformed it. This is the story of Park Min-hyuk and Zara Thompson. A CEO who learned that respect matters more than money. A maid who learned she deserved to be seen. A conspiracy that reached into the highest levels of power. A love that survived everything. A family that chose principle over comfort. And a world that changed because two people decided to fight. Thank you for watching episode 2. This is the end of their story. But their legacy continues forever.
The soft glow of the vanity lamp cast a golden halo around Evelyn Hart, but her reflection looked anything but angelic. The mirror in front of her was streaked with tears, each droplet warping her image like cracks in glass. She stood motionless in her silk nightgown, one hand resting on her swollen belly, the other clutching a photo that had once symbolized forever. Now it only screamed betrayal. In the picture, Adrian Cross, her charming, ambitious husband, smiled with effortless confidence. Beside him stood another woman, radiant, laughing, her hand resting a little too comfortably on his chest. The whispers that had haunted Evelyn for weeks now thundered in her mind, each one a cruel echo. He's with her again. Her phone buzzed. Another message. Another dagger to her heart. The room spun. Her breath hitched as she looked down at the gentle curve of life growing inside her. "I'll protect you," she whispered to her unborn child, her voice trembling, "even if I have to disappear." Outside, thunder split the sky, a violent sound that mirrored the storm breaking inside her. And in that shattering silence afterward, Evelyn Hart made her choice, to vanish before he could destroy her completely. Just a few weeks before the storm, Evelyn's world shimmered with illusion. From the outside, the Cross estate was the definition of perfection. Marble floors, glass walls reflecting the skyline, laughter echoing through grand halls. She was the elegant painter adored by society, and Adrian was the visionary architect everyone envied. Together, they were the couple people called unbreakable. But behind the polished smiles and champagne dinners, cracks had begun to form. Adrian's business trips stretched longer. His voice, once warm, turned clipped and distracted. He claimed he was designing a luxury resort, a project that will redefine the city, he said, but his sketches no longer filled the studio. Instead, his messages buzzed late at night with a woman's name that wasn't his wife's. Selena Vos. The name itself felt dangerous. A real estate agent with charm like silk and ambition like fire. She knew exactly how to make Adrian feel desired, powerful, irreplaceable. Evelyn noticed the lipstick stain once. Coral red. Not hers. The faint scent of an unfamiliar perfume lingered on his suit. She wanted to ask, to scream, but instead she smiled and lit candles for dinner, pretending everything was still whole. Because love, she thought, could mend anything. But sometimes love is the perfect disguise for a lie already taking root, a lie that would soon burn everything she had built. Sometimes the loudest heartbreaks come wrapped in silence. Evelyn had spent all morning preparing his favorite lunch, grilled salmon, fresh herbs, and lemon, thinking maybe love just needed a little reminder. She wanted to see his smile again, the one that used to melt away her fears. When she arrived at Cross Designs, the receptionist hesitated before letting her in. Evelyn didn't notice. She was too busy balancing the tray, excitement fluttering in her chest. But as she reached the glass-walled conference room, the world seemed to tilt. Adrian wasn't alone. He sat close to Selena Voss, fingers entwined, their foreheads almost touching. His voice was soft, tender, the same tone he once used when whispering to Evelyn under moonlit sheets. Her breath caught. The lunch slipped from her hands, the clatter echoing through the sterile hall. Selena looked up, her smile curved like a blade. "Oh," she said coolly. "I didn't know you were still together." Evelyn's vision blurred. Her heart hammered, and a sharp pain rippled through her stomach, their unborn child reminding her to breathe. Adrian stumbled toward her, guilt etched on his face. But she didn't cry, didn't scream. "I hope she's worth the family you're about to lose," she whispered, voice trembling but dignified. That evening, he returned home to find dinner gone cold and candles burned down to ghosts. On the table, her ring, her letter, and silence sharper than any goodbye. The morning light crept into the mansion, brushing against the empty side of the bed. Adrian reached out instinctively, only to find cold sheets. At first, he smiled faintly, thinking Evelyn had gone for her morning walk. But when hours passed and she still hadn't returned, unease began to coil in his chest. Her phone went straight to voicemail. Her car, found near the train station, was unlocked. Her purse was gone, but her sketchbook, the one she never left behind, lay abandoned on the passenger seat, its pages fluttering in the breeze. By noon, panic set in. Adrian called her friends, her mother, even the hospital. No one had seen her. No one knew. Days stretched into a tormenting blur of sleepless nights and unanswered questions. Headlines soon screamed across every tabloid. Billionaire's pregnant wife missing after love triangle scandal. Adrian tried to fight the storm, calling her name into the emptiness of their vast mansion. Each unanswered echo deepened the guilt clawing at him. The nursery she'd painted in soft pastels stood untouched, the crib still wrapped in ribbons, the rocking chair still waiting for lullabies that would never come. He replayed every word she'd said before leaving, every tear he hadn't wiped away. The weight of his betrayal pressed harder with each breath. And miles away, in a small seaside cottage hidden from the world, Evelyn watched the breaking news, her hand on her swollen belly. Her voice was soft but certain. "He'll regret it when it's far too late." The mansion, once alive with laughter, now echoed with silence. Dust gathered where sunlight once danced. The piano, Evelyn's piano, remained untouched, its keys a graveyard of forgotten melodies. Months slipped by, but time brought no mercy. The world had moved on, headlines replaced with fresher scandals, but Adrian remained a prisoner of his own making. He stopped attending board meetings, his empire collapsing in quiet stages, like a house with no foundation. Each night, he poured himself a drink he never finished, staring at the empty chair across from him. He replayed their last moments in his head, her trembling voice, her calm sorrow, her haunting promise. "I'll protect our child, even if it means leaving you behind." Selena tried to stay. She whispered apologies, offered comfort, but her touch made him recoil. One night, he finally looked her in the eyes and said, "You're not her." The next morning she was gone too. Left alone, Adrian turned to Evelyn's journals and canvases, remnants of a love he'd buried beneath lies. Her words bled loneliness. Her art screamed what her voice never could. And then he found it, a painting wrapped in silk titled The Vanishing. It showed a woman on a cliff, holding a glowing light, her unborn child against the storm. He stood before it for hours, heart shattering piece by piece. She had been saying goodbye long before she ever disappeared. 2 years crawled by like ghosts in Adrian's empty life. The mansion stood silent, his fortune meaningless without the heartbeat that once filled its halls. He'd grown pale, withdrawn, a shadow in designer suits, living on regret. Then one cold morning, a small envelope arrived. No return address. Just his name, written in a hand he would know anywhere. Inside, a single photograph. A little girl with curls of chestnut brown and eyes that mirrored Evelyn's softness, and his own unmistakable smile. On the back, 5 words written in Evelyn's delicate script. Her name is Lily. She's everything you could have loved. Adrian's breath caught. His vision swam. Their child, was alive. His daughter. He traced the postmark to a coastal town hours away. When he arrived, the salty wind hit his face, heavy with memories. A kind old neighbor recognized Evelyn's name immediately. She lived here, the woman said gently. A quiet soul. Always painting by the shore, always smiling. But her voice faltered. She passed last winter. Complications from childbirth. The world seemed to tilt. Adrian staggered to the cottage, each step heavier than the last. Inside, time had stopped. The faint scent of paint and lavender lingered in the air. Her easel stood by the window, an unfinished canvas waiting for light. It showed a man holding a child beneath a rising sun. Beside it lay a sealed envelope addressed to him. His trembling fingers opened it. "I forgive you. Love her enough for both of us." Tears fell freely as he clutched the letter to his chest. Forgiveness had come, but too late to save the one whose heart had always loved him, even as it broke. Adrian returned to the seaside town with trembling hands and a hollow heart, but this time he wasn't alone. In his arms was Lily, the little girl with eyes like dawn breaking through sorrow. She looked up at him with trust so pure it nearly broke him. The court proceedings were brief. Evelyn had named him as Lily's father in her final documents. She had planned everything, even his second chance. Taking custody wasn't just a duty. It was the only redemption he had left. The first months were hard. Lily asked about her mother often. Adrian didn't have words, only stories. He told her how Evelyn loved to paint sunsets, how she believed beauty could heal broken hearts. He left the city behind, selling the mansion that once symbolized power and turning it into funds for something meaningful. The Evelyn Foundation for Mothers and Artists, dedicated to supporting single mothers and creative women. He restored Evelyn's cottage, every brushstroke on the walls carrying her memory. The sound of Lily's laughter filled the empty rooms, replacing silence with life again. Years later, at the Foundation's first art exhibition, Lily stood beside him in a white dress, clutching his hand. She looked at the horizon and whispered, "Daddy, did Mommy paint the sky?" Adrian's throat tightened. He knelt beside her and smiled through tears. "Yes, sweetheart," he whispered. "And she painted you into my world." That night, as the applause echoed and the sea wind brushed against his face, Adrian looked toward a single bright star shimmering above the waves. He didn't need words to know. Evelyn was there. He finally understood. Love doesn't end in loss. It transforms, redeems, and lives on, through the child who carried both their hearts. The years rolled on gently, like waves against the shore. Adrian's hair had turned silver, his shoulders bent with time, but his eyes, once clouded with regret, now carried peace. Every evening, he sat by the same sea that had once taken Evelyn and given him back his soul. Lily, now a budding artist, painted beside him, small hands steady, brush gliding with the same tenderness her mother once had. The scent of salt and paint mixed in the air, wrapping father and daughter in quiet remembrance. Inside the cottage, Evelyn's final masterpiece hung in a place of honor, a woman walking toward the light, a baby cradled close. Beneath it, the words she had written still glimmered faintly in gold ink. Some goodbyes are not endings, they're beginnings disguised in pain. As the sun melted into the horizon, painting the sea in shades of amber and rose, Lily ran to her father, laughter spilling like music. Adrian lifted her into his arms, his heart swelling with love that no longer hurt. "Your mother would be proud," he whispered, voice trembling with warmth. The sea shimmered, golden, endless, and full of memories that refused to fade. Love doesn't end with loss. It transforms, becoming the light that guides what remains.
Julian Hart had everything money could buy: luxury cars, towering mansions, and a business empire built from nothing. But beneath all that success lived a man haunted by one painful truth: he could never have children. Doctors had confirmed it years ago. He was sterile. That word echoed in his mind like a curse he could never escape. Yet on an ordinary afternoon, his world tilted on its axis. Driving through a quiet town after a business meeting, Julian stopped at a small park to take a break. There, his eyes caught a sight that froze him in place. 4 young boys were playing near the fountain, their laughter filling the air like music. But what struck Julian wasn't their joy, it was their faces. Each child looked eerily familiar, their features a perfect reflection of his own. Same sharp eyes, same smile. Even the way they ran reminded him of his childhood. His heart pounded wildly, disbelief flooding every corner of his mind. "No, it can't be," he whispered to himself, his hands trembling. The longer he watched, the clearer it became. Those boys were copies of him. He felt his breath shorten as confusion and fear tangled inside him. Who were they? And why did they look exactly like him? In that moment, everything Julian believed about his life, his past, and his future began to crack. He didn't know it yet, but what he was about to uncover would change every truth he ever knew about love, betrayal, and destiny itself. Julian couldn't shake the image of those 4 identical faces from his mind. That night, sleep refused to come. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the boys running, laughing, their eyes glimmering with the same spark he saw in his own reflection. He needed answers. The next morning, driven by a strange force, he returned to the park. The same children were there, and beside them stood a woman, her face half hidden under the sunlight. Julian's heart skipped a beat. He knew that face. Eliza. The woman he had once loved more than anything, the one who vanished years ago without a word. His world began to spin. Memories flooded back, her laughter, her warmth, the promise of a future they never had. She turned slightly and her eyes met his. Shock flashed across her face, followed by fear. Julian took a slow step forward, unable to believe what he was seeing. Those boys, his mirror images, clung to her as if she were their entire world. His voice trembled as he finally spoke. "Eliza." "Who are those children?" The air between them turned heavy, thick with secrets long buried. Eliza's lips parted, but no words came out. Julian's pulse raced. He could feel the truth hovering just out of reach, dangerous and life-changing. Everything inside him screamed that this moment would decide the rest of his life. But deep in her eyes, he saw something more than fear. He saw guilt. And that single look told him the truth he wasn't ready to hear. The silence between Julian and Eliza felt endless. The world around them faded until only the sound of the children's laughter remained, innocent, pure, and painfully ironic. Julian took another step closer, his heart hammering like a drum. "Eliza, tell me," he said softly, but his voice carried the weight of 1,000 unspoken questions. Eliza swallowed hard, her eyes darting between him and the boys. She looked as if she wanted to run, but something held her there, perhaps the truth she had kept hidden for too long. "Julian," she began, her voice trembling, "you weren't supposed to find out like this." His chest tightened. "Find out what?" he asked, his tone calm but sharp. Eliza took a shaky breath, then turned toward the children. "They're your sons." The words struck him like thunder. For a second, Julian forgot how to breathe. Every sound around him disappeared. He looked at the boys again, searching their faces for denial, for some sign that this was all a mistake. But the resemblance was undeniable. Every feature mirrored his own. "That's not possible," he whispered. "The doctor said I could never—" Eliza lowered her gaze, tears glistening in her eyes. "They were wrong, Julian. Or maybe fate had other plans." His world tilted again, torn between disbelief and a strange, fragile hope. "Why didn't you tell me?" he asked. She looked at him with quiet pain. "Because your world never had space for me. For them." Her words cut deeper than he could bear, leaving him frozen between the man he had become and the father he never knew he was. Julian stood there, his heart in chaos. The world seemed to spin slower as his mind tried to absorb Eliza's confession. Every second stretched like an eternity. He looked at the children again, noticing how one of them had the same small scar near his eyebrow. The same one Julian had gotten when he was 6. His knees felt weak. "How long have you kept this from me?" he asked, his voice breaking slightly. Eliza looked down, her fingers nervously tightening around the handle of the stroller beside her. 7 years, she whispered. Julian took a step back, disbelief painting his face. 7 years? "Eliza, why?" She looked up then, her eyes shining with tears. "Because I was afraid, Julian. Afraid of your world, the fame, the wealth, the people who control everything around you. They never wanted me near you. I couldn't let them take my children away." Her words cut deep. He remembered his family's coldness, their warnings that Eliza would never fit in. At that time, he had chosen ambition over love, and now the cost of that choice stood before him in the form of 4 innocent faces. "You should have trusted me," he said quietly, his tone filled with sorrow. Eliza shook her head gently. "I wanted to, but you were gone, Julian. You changed. You became untouchable." Her voice cracked as she spoke, and Julian felt something break inside him. The realization hit him hard. He had missed their first steps, their first words, their birthdays. He had missed everything. For the first time in years, the millionaire who had everything felt completely empty. Julian's gaze softened as he watched the boys chasing bubbles near the fountain, their laughter echoing like a song he never knew he needed to hear. He wanted to walk toward them, to hold them, but fear anchored him where he stood. "Do they know?" he finally asked, his voice faint, almost breaking. Eliza shook her head slowly. "No, they only know that their father lives far away. Someone I once loved." Her words pierced through him like glass. For years, he had built walls of success to hide his loneliness, convincing himself that family wasn't meant for him. Now, standing there, he realized how wrong he had been. "I missed everything," Julian whispered. "Their birthdays, their smiles, their first day at school. I missed being their father." His eyes glistened, and for a man who had never shown weakness, that single tear carried all his pain. Eliza stepped closer, her expression tender but cautious. "You still can be," she said softly. "But only if you truly want to be part of their lives. Not as the man the world sees, but as the man I once knew." Her words sank deep into his heart. For the first time in years, Julian didn't think about business meetings or boardrooms. He thought about bedtime stories, scraped knees, and tiny hands reaching for his. He realized what wealth really meant: love, connection, belonging. "I want to try," he said, his voice trembling yet full of new strength. Eliza looked at him quietly, her eyes unsure but hopeful. The beginning of forgiveness hung in the air. The following days changed Julian's life in ways he never imagined. The man who once lived surrounded by luxury now found himself kneeling in the grass, learning how to fly kites with 4 curious boys who called him Mr. Julian. Every smile, every question, every small laugh melted something inside him that had been frozen for years. He didn't tell them right away who he was. He wanted to earn that place in their hearts first. He helped them paint, fix broken toys, and walked them to school, hiding the trembling in his voice whenever one of them slipped their hand into his. Eliza watched quietly from afar, torn between fear and hope. She saw a man who had once chosen the world over her, now choosing moments that truly mattered. One evening, as the sun dipped low, Julian sat beside the boys on the porch. "Do you ever wonder who your father is?" he asked gently. One of them smiled and said, "Mom says he's a good man who loves us, even if he can't be here." Julian felt his throat tighten. That night, he stood before Eliza, his eyes filled with tears he no longer hid. "I don't want to be a visitor in their lives," he said softly. "I want to be their father." Eliza's eyes shimmered. She saw in him not the millionaire, but the man she had once loved. For the first time in years she nodded, whispering, "Then stay." And in that quiet moment, under a fading sky, Julian finally understood. True wealth wasn't counted in numbers, but in the hearts that beat for you when the world falls silent.